Hello, if you're new here, my name is Christina, aka Northwest Reader, and this is going to be my weekly wrap up discussion, everything. Yeah, you know how this rolls. I have this weird setup where I'm recording on my laptop because my camera is dead, and it's not like, oh, kind of dead. It is dead, dead. Like, we're going to the funeral home to make plans to have a service. We're putting programs together, picking songs to be played at the viewing because it's just, and I want to get this film because my son is actually napping. And we're getting to the point, I was waiting on my camera, we're getting to the point where he's going to possibly wake up. So I'm doing this. I'm doing a very aesthetic, like well read beard. Anyways, so what I read the last couple weeks. So last week I went on a girls' vacation, girls' trip, and it was amazing. We went, I was there for, we went, we were in a cabin for the weekend, and it was so much fun. I tried to read a couple of like scarier books, and it just, the cabin was too creepy and it was just too much. I scared myself a little bit with one of the short story anthologies I was reading, so I like put it down, and we all three of us read, and we read Happy Books, the Heartstopper trilogy so far. There's a fourth one coming out in December, I think, but yeah, because my two friends, they haven't read this, and I only read the first book, so I wanted to obviously continue with the series, which is not normal for me. But I reread the first volume, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. The second volume, I think I gave this one 4 stars. It didn't have as much story. I feel like this was more of like building, adding more to the foundation of the characters and stuff like that. So a whole lot, I feel like, didn't happen in this one. And then volume 3, which I gave 5 stars, and it brings out more the character flaws or issues and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it a lot. And both my friends really loved it also, from my understanding. But yeah, I wanted to read something light and fun because it was like my first time away from my son, for like actually away. And it was like kind of nerve-wracking and scary for me, but we had such a good time. It was, you can just tell, because you've been on different types of vacations where like you're getting along really well in the beginning, and then suddenly like something awkward happens, or there's always a moment. But with my friends, I personally didn't feel like there was a moment unless I was the moment for them, if you know what I mean. But it was like my first true week being, it may have been 2 weeks by that point, being sober. So I was just, that's completely new to me too. But they were totally supportive and so sweet and nice. And we didn't drink, we didn't have booze in the cabin. And it was so much fun to genuinely have a good time and not drink, not have to drink, not be hungover. We got up really early one morning to watch the sunrise, which we kind of did, and it was funny. It was such a good time, and just driving around in the car and just singing like emo songs from the early 2000s, it was blissful. And I handled being away from my son much better than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to be a wreck, but I wasn't. So, yes, thank you to my friends for just being a part of my life. Thank you so much. But yeah, I finished those 3 books. And then on the flight home, I read half of an anthology, which is a lot for me. But I finished actually the other day and posted my review, How Good It Feels to Burn by Michael R. Goodwin, which technically today is his birthday, so happy birthday. I gave it 5 stars. It was really good. And I know people say like, oh, because he gave me a review copy, and people get a little concerned whenever there's a high review, like a high rating for a book. They think, oh, it's the reviewer might feel a certain way about giving an honest lower review or something for a book because they got it for free. You know what I mean? But I genuinely enjoyed the book. Like, it was really good. It had just a wide variety of different stories, like monsters and just out there stuff. Some of the things were like super gory, and there were other moments, other elements where it's, I would say, like more of a psychological type of horror, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I really did. And I'm happy I read it. It comes out on the 21st of September, I believe. But my favorite stories from the collection, though, was Bite, which was the very first story. It was super short, but it's about like this evil entity girl. And this is what I was reading in a super dark cabin where we would hear noises in the middle of the night and stuff, and it was just super eerie. And just reading this did not help the occasion whatsoever. So, and I'm sorry if you see me like look over, but I'm looking at my screen because I am worried I am going to, I don't know. I never recorded it on here before. But anyways, the other one, I enjoyed a lot of them, but the other one that stood out was Existence, which is about this young boy who borrows his father's camera and he's practicing his photography. And then in each photo, he sees a figure. And then soon there's a correlation between the figure and bad things happening in his life. And I thought it was really good. It was just creepy. And the ending, I think, it was a really good ending. I didn't know where it was going, how it was going to end. So the ending reveal was good. And then the next one I really enjoyed was Leaves. And it's about this village, and they have this haunted, like possessed something in these forests that's next to it is evil, and just don't go in the forest. But there was like a mini plot twist, mini twist at the very end, and I really enjoyed it. It made me want to know like more of the story. It was just like a little nibble, but I still was satisfied with how it ended, and it was just so much fun. Yeah, I recommend it. And this year, I swear, I tweeted about this, like, all the authors are killing it this year with these anthologies. I'm blown away by it. Absolutely blown away. Like, you guys are killing it. Just killing it. So, yeah, I finished that. And then a while ago, I listened to the audiobook for when I first decided to go sober. I listened to We Are the Luckiest. I don't think I talked about this before, but We Are the Luckiest, The Surprising Magic of a Sober Life. I gave it 5 stars. It's about this girl, her experience with just getting sober and just having a drinking problem, and just her perspective on things. And a lot of the stuff she said just was able to explain how I felt about certain things, and like just the shame and just so much about it. I really appreciated it. I thought it was just one of the better books for sure that I've read when it comes to sober stuff. But yeah, and it's by Laura McCohen. So the next book I listened to as an audiobook, and it's 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. I gave it 3 stars. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It's just about these 3 women and their sex lives, and they're all in different situations. Like, one has a relationship with a teacher while she's a student. Another one, her husband likes to watch her do stuff or things like that. And then the other one, I forget. Like, it wasn't even memorable, apparently. I think she just cheats, or she gets back with her first boyfriend. I don't remember. But I didn't really care for it. I have the physical book, so I'm probably going to go to the store and sell it to the store because not keeping it. The next book I finished as an audiobook, and it's funny because I finished it on the plane ride to my vacation and I was like blushing. Make sure that my audio was down because it was explicit. But it's the first book of the Ice Planet Barbarians. And I gave it 3 stars. I know a lot of people love this book and love the series. My friend is a big fan, but I couldn't get on. I just couldn't. There were moments where I was just like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like I need to save this person or intervene because sexual acts are happening to her without like her saying like, yes, I want to do this, like consent stuff was questionable in this, but it was entertaining. They had moments where I was like, oh, okay. And then there were moments where I was like, so yeah, I've read that. So I finally got to read it. Everyone's been talking about it for years. The next audiobook I finished was This Is How: Proven Aid in Overcoming Shyness, Molestation, Fatness, Spinsterhood, and something else. I can't read it. I gave it like 3.5 stars, 3.5 stars. I thought it was decent. It's by Augustin Burroughs. He can be a little blunt about some things. Like some things he said I was on board with, totally agree, but then how he went about describing some other things like eating disorders and how he would handle his daughter if she had eating disorder, I wasn't really on board with that. It just seemed like there was a disconnect, like he wouldn't be able to understand. But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I just took it the wrong way, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that. But some of the stuff I was like, yeah, I'm a little back and forth about it. I don't know. But I thought it was decent. So those were the books I finished. I am going to continue reading a bunch of the books that I've been reading. Hamlin's book, Double Vision. Still working on that. And Mike Thorne's anthology. Gonna finish that. Oh, and I started a couple of other audiobooks. Whenever I was on my flight, I wanted to listen to audiobooks. So I started listening to Goblin by Josh Malerman. I'm not feeling it. In the very beginning, like I can't help but think about Alan Baxter's The Gulp. It's similar to this. I mean, like in the very beginning, they talk about a truck driver and stuff like that. And it's the start of the anthology going to this town called Goblin. And then in Alan's book, truck drivers going to this town called the Gulp. So it's just like, I don't know. It's similar, but like the first story in Goblin, nothing like any of the stories in the Gulp. But the first story I thought it was decent, but the ending was a little like you kind of figure it out pretty quickly what's going to happen. And then the second story, I'm listening to it and I'm like, it's hard for me to be into the story. I have to re-listen to it because I was just like not paying attention. And I usually am pretty good with audiobooks. So I was like, oh man, so I got to re-listen to it. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. And it's my first Josh Malerman, which I don't know if I should have read like his other stuff first to get the vibe of his writing style. But I'm just a little like meh about this so far. I've read similar reviews about this, so I'm still going to give it a chance. I'm still going to keep listening to it. I don't think I probably would have DNF'd it if I was reading it physically, but I'm going to keep going. And then another book that I'm reading or listening to, it's a NetGalley audiobook, Arc, and it's Summer Suns by Lee Mandello. Is so boring. No offense to you. Like, I'm sorry if you love the book. The cover is what got me. I thought the cover looked beautiful. The story itself sounded interesting, so I thought I'd give it a listen, and I'm about halfway through and I am so bored. I just feel like we're just going around in circles with the same stuff. Like, it's about this boy whose best friend ended up killing himself, so he goes to where like he was gonna move in with his friend, but he gets there and he's trying to figure out what happened. And there's some mystical supernatural stuff that's happening, which I enjoy the parts when it happens, but I feel like it doesn't happen enough. And it's mostly this drama of just trying to figure out what happened to his best friend. And he's just so mopey, and I get it. Like, I've lost my best friend before too, in a tragic way, so I can understand that element. But oh my gosh, it's just, I hate being in this kid's head. It's just like, it's too much sometimes. I'm like, okay, can we move on? Can we like solve this mystery? And I just want to know what's going to happen. That's the only thing that's keeping me into this, other than also that it's an audiobook. If it was a physical book, definite DNF. I'd probably just like skip chapters and just like just trying to figure out what happens. So I'm not the biggest fan of it so far, and I'm so disappointed because the cover looks amazing. So those are the books I'm currently reading, and I want to show some book mail and a little bit of Nightworm stuff. So I'm going to do the Nightworm stuff last because I didn't want to film a separate video because I just want to get this out. So one of the books I received in the mail, I saw this, I don't think I talked about it, but I saw this on Twitter and I saw the cover, and oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this cover. Obsessed, because it stands out. It's not like the covers that are out there right now that are super popular in the indie horror community. But I asked Scott if I could have an ARC, and I usually just want e-ARCs. I'm fine with that. Like anything like that for review, I prefer just the ebook because it's just easier, it's cheap, shipping cheaper and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So, but I saw this and I was like, I'll send you shipping money. And he's like, no, stop it. But it's What One Wouldn't Do, and it's edited by Scott J. Moses. I mean, look at the cover. And then the people in this are like, oh, there's so many good authors, like Haley Piper, Scott himself, and Christina Wilder, who is a Washingtonian, Eric LaRocca. Oh my god, there's just too many. And then the intro is done by Laura Hightower, which I'm gonna get to this probably next month because I want to just dive in ASAP as possible. And then this author contacted me a little bit ago and asked if I would like a copy for review, and I was totally down. I'm totally down to support, of course. And it's The Sentinel by Drew Starling. Isn't that nice? And it has a little postcard. I love swag, and he signed it, which I appreciate so much for sending this. I keep thinking there's a fold, and I'm like, because my kid terrorizes things. But the back says, a monster, a missing boy, and nowhere to return. Something is lurking in the woods just beyond Aaron and Ellen Dryer's new country home, and an evil that has been hiding in plain sight for centuries is about to emerge. A neighbor is brutally murdered. Their 4-year-old son goes missing in broad daylight, and the local town of Bensalem devolves into a cesspool of finger-pointing and chaos. With nowhere left to turn, Aaron and Ellen are forced to venture into the woods to find their son and the truth, but in the process they uncover a force larger and more sinister than anything they ever could have imagined. Doesn't that sound good? I love little monster stuff. But yes, thank you again, Drew, for this. I'm gonna get to this at some point by the end of this year. And then this book I bought for myself. The author is like one of my favorites, and he had sent me an e-ARC of this, but I didn't get to it in time. But I don't own any of his stuff physically, so I wanted to get something. So I got Human Tenderloin Stories by Craig Walwork, and this is exciting. This is gonna be good. Because I actually read a little bit of the beginning of this, and I just love his writing style. So the back says, a prematurely aging girl learns to fly during the end of the world.
A husband makes the ultimate sacrifice for his dying wife. Two brothers endure a rainstorm that lasts 5 years. A father tries to save his daughter from a sleeping epidemic. A man books into a hotel where the guests check in but never checks out. A group of fine dining cannibals worry where their next meal will come from, and a grieving mother goes in search of ghosts in a haunted house. Human Tenderloin is a collection of horror stories with heart. Some will goose the flesh, calm down, girl. Some will goose the skin. Others will leave you bloated with terror, but each one will stay with you.
Totally believe it. I look forward to this. And I am also reading, I'm beta reading actually, and I've been mentioning it, but he posted the cover of his short story collection, so I figured might as well talk about it. But it is Oh Pain by Kyle Winkler. I'm almost done with it, and y'all are in for a treat. Like, it's really good so far, and I'm excited for him to release it and for it to be out there for everyone, because it's like it's a killer collection so far as I've read, and I just don't get how everyone is just killing it with these anthologies right now. So another thing I finished, which I almost forgot about, I finished it last night. This author contacted me because I read one of his other books. I think it was a novella called Bloodlust, which was brutal. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. And he contacted me asking me if I read this short story. And it is called, I have it on my phone, it's called Smile by Dan Chadwick. And I thought it was pretty good. I think I'll give it like a 3.5 stars probably. It's super short, it was a really quick read if you want to pick it up. Right now it's on Godless also, which is to note. I have to post a review on there for it. But it's about this guy going to a party, and he's going to meet up with this girl. But then there's this evil entity girl walking around near the party, and things are happening. That's all I'm going to say. It's super short. I don't want to spoil anything, but it was decent. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't anywhere as brutal as his novella, that's for sure. But it was good. I wish there was a little bit more gore, but maybe I have his novella in the back of my mind, so I just went with that. And I purchased, I think this may have been free, I don't know, but this is Thomas Gloom, Stories with Horror and Heart, Volume 1. I got this. It's a short story collections. I'm just gonna try to go over this stuff real quick because I just need to, because I'm being ridiculous. Oh, and another author that reached out to me, I read, I'm reading one of his other books currently, Mike Thorne. Really enjoy his writing style, but he sent me another short story collection, and it's called Peel Back and See. I don't have the cover on this one, but I look forward to getting to it once I finish his other one. And yeah, just killing it with these stories, like just popping them out left and right. Thank you for the copy, so I can get a review done for you. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this author also contacted me. He also does book cover design work, which I really appreciate, and I love his work. I think it's really good. But it's A.A. Medina, and it's God Forbid short stories. I'm not sure if it's out yet, or maybe it is out. I'm not 100% sure, but he sent me a copy of that to review at some point, and I just really appreciate it. And if you need reasonably priced, good book cover design, go to A.A. Medina. He's on Twitter. That's how I follow him, but really great guy. Let's talk about Nightworms package. I have most of the stuff. My son got on it when I pulled all the stuff out. So let's start with the books. So this book I never heard of, but it is called The Forest by Lisa Quigley. I don't want to read the back. I'm sorry. I read two back of the books, all right. And it comes with the author plate, and I never heard of it. I don't really want to read what it's about. I'm sorry. It's just I never heard I don't know anything about it, and I would like to go into it not knowing a thing. So this was the one book. It's the softcover one. And then everyone knows this book. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Everyone knows this one. It has the plate, author plate. Let's see what, ooh, I like it. And again, I don't know a whole lot about this one. Because this is on my TBR. I believe it's about like different horror films or something like that. And I don't know a whole lot, but that seems like that's the trend this past summer, is taken from horror movies, like the final girl tropes, or just, that type of stuff. It seems really popular, and this falls into it, so I mix them all up. But yes, and I'm happy we got this copy. So those were the two books. The drink is horchata cocoa, which it looks yummy. I'm probably going to have this today or maybe tomorrow. And then we have a card, Queen of No Tomorrows, a Hazelland novel. I don't think I've heard of that. It came with a bookmark, obviously, but my son took that and ran, so I don't have it to show. I don't know what he did with it. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned this. Yeah. I have product in this package, and I'm super excited to share it. But first, also, it came with an extra Nightworms sticker, which is really, really good quality. And then my sticker, which hopefully it's a little reflective, but yeah, it's a cabin in the woods, and then it has like smoke coming from the cabin with skulls in it. It has two little kids. It's kind of like Hansel and Gretel. But yeah, and then there's a moon. So yeah, everyone's getting a Trueborn Design original. I'm super excited. I hope everyone likes it and stuff. It was kind of interesting trying to get this printed correctly because it's just so dark, and I want to make sure the colors popped out and the little kids didn't get lost. But I like it, and I hope everyone else does. And then my little, they have the little insert, Out for Blood. And that was this theme. And it explains all the stuff. But yeah, it has all the information. It has my little information there if you want to come and follow me on my social medias. That's on my Instagram. And then on there you can find my Etsy shop if you're ever interested. But this is my little logo. I'm going to cover the percentage off because I don't want everyone to get a percentage off. But yeah, there's my design. And it has a little code at the bottom, so if you got a Nightworms package, you can use it. Hello, so now I'm on my camera because it charged up a little bit, finally. And my laptop was dying. I'm winning it today. Anyways, what I was saying is now that my shop has, I sell stickers, bookmarks, and now I'm dabbling into magnets and print work a little bit on cardstock. It's on cardstock paper. But I test printed my Blue's Clues Steve thing design on cardstock, and this is like kind of what the magnets will look like, but magnets will be a little bit brighter. But yeah, this is on cardstock, and I just wanted to say, like, if you go to my shop and you order anything, it could be the $2 sticker that I have on there, I will give one of these little mini prints for free in there, and it says, I never forgot you, ever. How, it just makes me get all emotional and sappy. But yeah, I still have quite a few, so if you want one for free, I mean kind of free, like you don't have to pay additional, just you can go buy a sticker. And all my sticker stuff is shipping free if you just get a sticker. So hit me up, check out my Etsy. And it's the perfect time. If you got a package, Nightworms package, you can use the discounted 10% off. So go do that. No pressure. Anyways, so I think that's it. But I am currently I'm going on almost a month of being sober. And I'm feeling good. I'm not gonna lie. In the very beginning, I was just, where you quit something and you have like that high, like, oh, this is me now. I'm excited. I'm doing something new. Blase, blase. Now I'm back to feeling like my normal self. And I'm like, ah. But the difference is I am not hungover and not feeling sick to my stomach from drinking. And I feel like my skin is somewhat clearing up and my eyes are brighter, I feel. And even though it's like still, life is still life and frustrating and it's hard to be a mom to a toddler, but I'm like happier. So just giving you a little update, like I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm sticking with it. And I appreciate all the messages. I got so many messages and comments that are just supportive about my decisions to be sober. And I really appreciate you all. I truly do. And I thank you. And if anyone wants to talk about anything, like if you yourself have some type of problem or anything like that and just want to like just bullshit in the comments or bullshit in the message, just hit me up. I'm always down to talk. So yeah, thank you. And I've been getting contacted by different people about starting maybe a Patreon with like my stickers, my bookmarks, stuff like that. And I'm like looking into it. I'm a little hesitant about it because I just want to be able to provide the best quality stuff that I can, but not overdo it because it's literally only just me making the stuff and handling everything. So I just don't want to overwhelm myself, but at the same time, I think it would be fun to do a Patreon, but I'm not sure. What are your thoughts about that? I keep asking. I want people's input because I want to be able to provide interesting, new, different type of things for different tiers and not just the same old stuff that everyone else does. And I want to make sure that I don't want to say it's worth my time, but kind of if it's worth my time. I really do appreciate all people that support me and stuff, so just let me know what your thoughts are on the whole Patreon thing, because I'm on the fence about it. We'll see, but definitely I'm going to wait until after my son's second birthday, which is coming up really soon. So we'll see. But anyways, thank you for watching and putting up with my horrible footage earlier. Hopefully it doesn't look too awful and sound awful. I don't even know if it sounds okay, but thank you for everything. I really appreciate you. And yeah, just keep an eye out for some more stuff that I'm going to have coming out. But again, thank you so much, and until next time.